Hey, good morning, students. I'm here to show you what you're doing today. The I can statement says that you have to apply the idea of supply and demand. So that's exactly what you're going to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to actually look at the list of positions and issues you guys have come up with. So I'm going to look at it right now. Here we go. We got bullying, violence, race, rich, poor, and a couple others. Let's see. As you can see, if I talked to you yesterday, I got you on the list. So let's take an example. Alright, Gerald, Shanita, and Kendra had bullying increases suicide rates. Okay. Now, my first thought is if it has a word like increasing, I'm always going to be able to apply the idea of supply and demand. So to restate, the idea of supply is that anything that goes into the supply of what's needed to create the service or good that the person is going to buy, anything that goes into that that's going to increase that cost is going to increase the cost of the good or service that person wants to buy. The demand side of it is that anything that increases the demand, that is how much people want it and how much people are going to buy it, is going to increase the cost. So I'm going to have to get creative. This idea again is that bullying increases suicide rates. So I'm going to look at the chart. And here we have the issue or the position. And I would simply write bullying increases suicide rates. That's going to say how supply and demand can be applied. And that says relations or solutions to your problem. Well, I'm going to think of relations. So I'm going to have to get out my thinking cap here and say, well, what causes someone to commit suicide? And I'm going to think creatively. Well, they're probably not getting something they need. That is, some demand they have is not being met. So maybe that thing that they feel they need is acceptance, social acceptance. And when they are bullied, they do not receive that social acceptance, which, if you were paying attention at the very start of the year, you know that adolescents crave acceptance from their peers. So if teenagers aren't being accepted by people their own age that they associate with, then that's going to impact their self-esteem. So what's going down here? I would say that teens demand for acceptance. Oops, gotta spell the right acceptance. Is not being met. Okay. Now, what's the cost of acceptance? Well, you need school, you need friends, family, and I could keep on thinking. Cost of technology, machinery. Now I'm going to think of maybe why is this kid being bullied? Is it because of their lack of technology, like they don't have a cell phone? They can't respond on Twitter? Cost of labor. Now, there's a reason why I printed this out and these titles are in gray, because I want you to use them if you can, ignore them if you can't use them. Cost of labor. So as far as the supply of acceptance, what's the labor of that? Well, Kid's got to be outgoing. Has to actually try and make friends. So that's the cost, but that does take courage. And you're going to see how bullying may impact this idea of courage. Transportation, maybe that connects, but I'm not going to do it now. So, demand. So, they are demanding acceptance. How does bullying influence whether kids crave acceptance? Well, bullying. If kids don't have courage because they are bullied, then they won't have acceptance. So I'm gonna ignore these gray ones, and I'm just gonna write that. If kids are bullied, they will be scared to look for acceptance. So what's really happening is that bullying is limiting the demand of the victim. So maybe what could government do to stop this? I'm looking at control. Well, maybe the school punishes bullies more harshly. Bam. Now I've just filled that out. Now my last goal is to write this out in a paragraph to make sense. Now I understand that there's not exact right answers, but this is what a social scientist has to do. You're going to apply this idea of supply and demand. That is, there's something going into a goal, and there's things that go into people's demand for that goal, and you need to apply these ideas. Notice how I did both how in bullying, teens are demanding acceptance, and that the bullying is actually preventing the teen from the right amount of demand, that is demanding their acceptance by being outgoing and so on. And that the solution to this would be a government control, that punishments for bullying would be much more severe. Now I'd like you guys to get more specific. And then I'd write that out in the paragraph. Your guys' job is to have this actual discussion. One person is going to videotape it. And hopefully I see this videotape up on Edmodo. All right, see you guys later.